Welcome to a Sabbath discussion. Hopefully, I can be heard because this is my first time doing this um, live on YouTube. So, not using any type of like StreamYard or anything. So, hopefully, this is kind of like a test. but welcome to our Sabbath conversation. So, in this discussion, I wanted to speak about, are you prepared to be chosen? And I just have a few points that I wanted to touch on, and I'm just going to kind of just go off of those points. For anyone who joins the live, feel free to, leave a comment or share a comment. Anything that is resonating with you, anything that you want to touch on, speak on, have questions about, feel free to utilize the comment section. All right, hopefully I can see the comments that are coming in. Just a moment. Okay, so let me get into it. What does it mean to be chosen as a woman? And this is stemming from the topic that I did on the pick me, what righteous women need to know. And so I wanted to speak about, like, are we preparing ourselves to be covered? Are we preparing ourselves to be chosen, as women? And what that responsibility comes with. And so I first wanted to start off with sharing that we really have to learn who men really are. I've noticed that women oftentimes judge men based on their own understanding instead of saying, like, okay, what does this man actually, like, who are they? Am I basing on what I think they are, based on societal expectations and what I've been taught through propaganda and through social media? So I think oftentimes when we judge men incorrectly, it takes away from our role in the situation and our value. And when you are vetting a man and you're wanting to be inside of a relationship, you have to understand men and know men to even know why you even want to pursue a relationship to begin with. So when we judge men through, our feminine lenses, um, again, it can often lead to misunderstanding his nature and responsibility. So let's get into it. I want to share a few definitions. So I wanted to share what a king is. And this is just a definition that I just got offline, but I'm also going to share what it means in supreme mathematics and the 120 lessons that I've learned within my community. But a king is a male sovereign ruler, a man who holds the highest authority over a kingdom. Traditionally, a king's responsibility includes governing, protecting, judging, and leading his people. All right, those are some heavy responsibilities. And so I'm going to share what a king is in supreme mathematics. A king shows and proves that everything is peace in their kingdom. Ruler of kingdom, equivalent of God. Ruler because he's wise and just, knows knowledge. Knowledge of his word is life. The black man. Kingdom is the home of the black king and black queen. Has to have knowledge and equality. They do this by sharing the knowledge. All right, so if you understand men, you'll likely, again, understand your role as a wife. And we have to ask ourselves, like, what is a good wife? And a lot of times that is based on how we interact and relate to men. So in supreme mathematics, a queen, she's refined. She's the refined woman that has been refined by God so she can build alongside him. Counterpart of the king. She must always acknowledge the king to hold her place by God. God puts her in place to be queen, so she needs to show her respect. She is the most purified particle of Allah, better known as the true rich black soil, mother of civilization who has the scales of justice inside of her but is still blind to her power. which is being queen of the universe and earth below. But as the power to control both from the energy that Allah gave her, the woman is the fact of life known as substances. She become queen after she has given the knowledge of God. And that is a lot to filter through and to go through right there. So if we understand our role, like a lot of our oh goodness. Okay, I see like the comments coming in, but they won't stay on the screen, so it's kind of hard to reply to them. I do see that there's some spam. So, but anyways, like just based on, what I shared as far as like the definition, a lot of a queen, like her role is based on the respect that she shows towards that man. So I wanted to move into how like the independent mindset can be, you know, damaging because to a woman. So, the comments is a bit distracting. Shabbat Shalom, Jamie Morgan, peace. Welcome to our Sabbath conversation. Um, all right, so many times, okay, this independent phenomenon we have. So I think a lot of times, like I've heard like women complain about how difficult it is for them to, honor their feminine role, also doing what they think is the masculine role or doing what a man can do. And they describe this as being difficult or the highest level that a woman can achieve as far as her being a woman. Like, oh, I can do what men can do. And that's what makes me a great woman. But a lot of times, like for a man, this is the role that he does naturally. It comes very easy for him. He's not stressed. And if we go back to the word king, like he's a man who is governing a whole nation, probably thousands and hundreds and millions, of people. So he has the capacity to rule in that way. So when it comes to him, being dominant and assertive, leading people, guiding people, teaching people, working with different laws and making sure the laws of the land are applied, that comes very easy because that's a part of his nature. If we look at Genesis and it speaks about men were made to master the earth, so and we were created as Eve created from Adam to help Adam. So we're supposed to have knowledge of who he is and be like, okay, I'm here to help you in any way that you see necessary. I'm here to, help you in that, which is it connects to her being that queen. She knows like her role and her value and what she's there to do. So we have to recognize the weight of his provision, his protection, and his leadership and responsibility. And when we know those responsibilities, we we are able to let's say this. We are able to honor and respect him as the king that he is. So I wanted to like go into like how a woman protects, her household. There are kings, who practice polygyny, and a lot of times when it comes to that protection, women can protect a man by being his ears and eyes and letting him know like, oh, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, so that that man knows like, oh, like what to watch out for. So she's like, because she has that close relationship with him, and no woman, I know I don't want to be in that position alone. Like I want to have other sisters I can speak to and talk to and bounce ideas off. I want to be like, hey sis, did you see that? Did you see what was going on? This person did such and such, and she's like, yeah, I seen that. We need to go and and tell him what's up. So it's like you're gonna have those women that you're bonding with, that you have close relationships with, that there's loyalty and there's love, and you have that strong knit bond. Because you have that family builders mindset. So these are some of the wise ways that a woman protect her house, and the wise ways that a woman build up her house. A foolish woman destroys her house, but a wise woman builds it up. Because she sees the value of a man in his role being king and leading people and guiding people. So in that there is protection. There's not a woman in the world who is in a leadership position when it comes to nationhood who doesn't have a man, a husband by her side. There's no woman civilization where it's just women completely ruling with no type of masculine energy, present. So when it comes to us being chosen as women, we have to understand who the man is, and we have to ask. We have to ask. We can't go based on our own understanding. We have to ask men, like, what is it that you are looking for? Like, what value do you seek from women when you want to be in a relationship? And I'll go deeper, because I do want to create a series of this, where I'm speaking about the pick me and the importance of being chosen. And there's so much to it as far as like a woman what she needs to cultivate internally. So that's what I'm going to be speaking about next time, like how she cultivates herself, her spirit, her heart, what characteristic like submission and just really like going into it, being receptive, being respectful, just going more deep into that, those qualities being in her spirit. And a lot of the information I share is from my community. I have heard, righteous men share what it is that they look for in a woman. I've heard it from their own mouth, so I don't, speculate and say like, "Oh man, y'all need to protect, y'all need to do this." Like I don't like assert what they need to do because they're more qualified to say like, "This is what I need to do based on what I've been spiritually charged with." I'm trying not to go like and veer off in so many different directions, but there's so many things to discuss, as it relates to this topic. But if you enjoyed the video, definitely like share the video, leave your comments. I do apologize, I can't reply to so many comments. I have to figure out how to like keep them on screen and really read through them and see them. But I didn't really expect anybody to come through. But thank you for joining this discussion and I'll see you in the next one. All right. Peace.